Good morning. Joe Clark and I, as your church wardens, felt it was time that we should update you and give thanks for everything that has happened since the closure of our church on the 23rd of March. This has been an amazing time, and to put it into perspective, we must remember this is the first time since 1208 that the churches in this country have been closed. That's 50 years before our church was founded. Then the cause of the closure was a dispute with the Pope in Rome. Now it's a pandemic which has swept the world. When such drastic measures are taken, it would have been very easy for everyone to relax and pray in private. But we cannot thank enough both the team that have masterminded the 10 o'clock online service and Roger Gross for organising the telephone services for our more mature congregation for keeping our worship on course. The 10 o'clock services have been brilliant in the professionalism of presentation and their inclusion of so many people taking part. The coffee break at 11 o'clock, when we all meet online, does not quite replicate the coffee and biscuits after our normal service, but it does allow us to greet each other in the fellowship for which Uplyme is so well known. 1,000 thanks to all the team. When you join the telephone services, you get the same feeling of serenity and joy in meeting in worship as at our normal 6 p.m. Sunday services. 2 months ago, on April the 20th, we would have held our APCM, and it is then customary for the Wardens to say thank you to a few of you who have proved to be exceptional in their services to our church. As we did not have that opportunity, I would like to mention 4 people who have been truly amazing in their dedication and sacrifice. In Philip Tolhurst, we have a treasurer who has the gift to translate church accounts into something that we can all understand. There is a clarity which simply does not need one to question his presentation. His faith also is outstanding, and at times like this he is the perfect financial rock that we need. Jeff Lindsley, who looks after the church buildings, is someone who any church warden who is officially responsible for the buildings will beg to join their church. He is conscientious and so totally reliable that any fears for the upkeep of our church totally vanishes in his safe hands. Roger Gross has in the 18 months of our interregnum been a total stalwart in guiding us in worship and has always been there when we have needed spiritual help. Having also guided us by being in charge of the music prior to the setting up of the music group, we have been truly blessed by his presence. Finally, and certainly not least, David Lawrence has, again in the past months of our interregnum, taken virtually every celebration of Holy Communion. With his other commitments to Abbeyfield in Lyme Regis and the Stroke Club, we tend to forget that he is also retired from a full church life. These 4 have been the lifebelts to which we as wardens have clung to during 18 not always easy months. Now, as to the future. The Church Times has this wonderful paragraph on the 11th of May, which read as follows. The government has lumped churches with pubs, cinemas and hairdressers as premises that must stay closed until July the 4th. The government speaks of churches as part of step 3 in the journey back to normal life, while the coronavirus remains a threat. This, however, should not be construed as any real rush back to normality for church life. We believe that when the church might be reopened, it will be on a very gradual basis. And unfortunately, it may well be that normal services for those over the age of 70 may not be allowed to take place until at least the end of the year. No doubt, however, there will be more instructions to follow. On a slightly more positive news, the team vicar, who was meant to move into our rectory in June, will now be delayed until September, when she will take up her duties as part of the team with the Act Valley Mission Community. So there we have it. We have a brilliant church, partly on hold, but as Clive, our rector, said to us, the church is not the building, but the people, and we should always remember that. Finally, at the end of every service, the leader would say, "And now let us stand for our final hymn, during which a free will offering will be taken." I know it's not always thought correct to mention money in polite circles, but the reality of our present situation is that we need your offerings more urgently than ever. Many of you pay by standing order, for which we are very grateful. But may I ask those of you who would normally put cash into the collection bags to contact Philip Tolhurst so that you may send him money directly. Joe and I believe this is a real privilege to be your church wardens, and we send you our love and thank you so much for your fellowship and support. Together in unity and the love of Christ, we hope that we will always stay a part of Upline Church. So thank you again for everything that you do for the church. Bye-bye.